Good evening, ELC families.
Good evening.
Welcome back to our Sunday evening book club. We're so excited to have you joining us again this week. We've really been enjoying our diversity theme and speaking to the students about the different books that we've been reading.
Absolutely.
It's been really wonderful. We've been having a lot of fun at back to school night. I know we still have 2 more to go. I've really enjoyed meeting all the parents. I know I met many of you at meet and greet, but it's been very nice to have a little extra time to chit chat with you and learn a little bit more about you and your family.
That's right, and I know a lot of parents are really excited about what the kids have been learning and all of the things that are hanging up in the rooms and in the hall, so it's been very successful.
It's such a beautiful day today. We decided we'd come out to the butterfly garden. If you look carefully, you can see our new playground equipment. The students have been loving it. You know, a lot of fun in those first few days. They're really learning how to climb and share and take some time on it. It's been a lot of fun watching them out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are we reading tonight, Mrs. Johnson?
Right, we are reading The Name Jar, and this book was written by and illustrated by Yangsook Choi. So The Name Jar. Through the school bus window, Yoon-hee looked out at the strange buildings and houses on the way to her new school. It was her first day and she was both nervous and excited. She fingered the little block of wood in her pocket and remembered leaving her grandmother at the airport in Korea. Her grandmother had wiped away Yoon-hee's tears and handed her an ink pad and a small red satin pouch. "Your name is inside," she had said. "My name?" Yoon-hee had wondered. Again, she took out the red pouch to look at the wooden block with her name covered in it. As she ran her fingers along the grooves and ridges of the Korean characters, she pictured her grandmother's smile. "Is that thing for show and tell?" a boy asked Yoon-hee, surprising her. Yoon-hee looked up as more kids leaned over. "No, it's mine," Yoon-hee answered, quickly putting the pouch back in her pocket. "Are you new here? What's your name?" a girl asked. "Yoon-hee," said Yoon-hee. "Oo-nee?" the girl asked, scrunching up her face. Oh, Oo-nee," some kids chanted. "No, Yoon-hee corrected. It's spelled U-N-H-E-I. It's pronounced Yoon-hee." "Oh, it's you-hey," the boy said, like, "You, hey, what about hey you?" Just then, the bus pulled up to the school and doors opened. Yoon-hee hurried to get off. "You-hey, bye-bye," the kids yelled. As she left, Yoon-hee felt herself blush. Yoon-hee stood in the doorway of her new and noisy classroom. She was relieved that the kids on the bus had gone to other rooms, but her face still felt red. "Aren't you going in?" asked a curly-haired boy with lots of dots on his face. "You're the new girl, right?" he asked cheerfully. Yoon-hee nodded, and before she could walk away, the boy took her hand and pulled her through the door. "Here's the new girl," he announced so loudly that the teacher, Mr. Kokotus, almost dropped his glasses. Mr. Kokotus thanked him and greeted Yoon-hee. "Please welcome our newest student," he said to the class. She and her family just arrived from Korea last week. Yoon-hee smiled broadly and tried not to show her nervousness. "What's your name?" someone shouted. Yoon-hee pictured the kids on the bus. I haven't picked one yet," she told the class, "but I'll let you know by next week." As Mr. Kokotus showed her to her desk, she felt many round, curious eyes on her. "Why doesn't she have a name?" she heard someone whisper. "Maybe she robbed a bank in Korea and needs a new identity," a boy replied. On the bus home, nobody teased her, but Yoon-hee kept thinking about her name. "How was school, Yoon-hee?" her mother asked when she walked in. "Did you understand the teacher?" Yoon-hee simply nodded. She unpacked her school bag and set the red pouch by a photograph of her grandma. "I'm glad you are learning English well," her mother said. "You must study hard, behave nicely, and get good grades to show that you're a good Korean." "I will," replied Yoon-hee, "but "But I think I would like my own American name," she said quickly. Her mother looked at her with surprise. "Why?" "Yoonhee is a beautiful name. Your grandma and I went to a name master for it." "But it's so hard to pronounce," Yoonhee complained. "I don't want to be different from all the American kids." "You are different, Yoonhee," her mother said. "That's a good thing." Yoonhee just wrinkled her nose. Later that day, Yoonhee and her mother went grocery shopping in their new neighborhood. They passed Fadil's Falafel, Tony's Pizza, and Dot's Deli. A big graffiti-painted garbage truck roared like a lion as it took off down the street. Nothing sounded or looked familiar until they got to Kim's Market. The sign was in both English and Korean. Her mother picked up cabbage to make kimchi, Korean-style spicy pickled cabbage, and other vegetables and meat. She also found some seaweed, Yoonhee's favorite, for soup. It made Yoonhee smile. "Just because we have moved to America," her mother said, "doesn't mean we have to stop eating Korean food." At the checkout counter, a friendly man smiled at Yoonhee. "Helping your mother with the shopping?" he asked. Yoonhee nodded. "I'm Mr. Kim," he said. "And what is your name?" "Yoonhee," she answered. "Ah, what a beautiful name," he said. "Doesn't it mean grace?" Yoonhee nodded again. "My mother and grandmother went to a name master for it," she told him. "A graceful name for a graceful girl," Mr. Kim said as he put their groceries into bags. "Welcome to the neighborhood, Yoonhee." That evening, Yoonhee stood in front of the bathroom mirror. "Hi, my name is Amanda," she said cheerfully. Then she wrinkled her nose. "Hi, my name is Laura." Maybe not. Her smile turned down. Nothing sounded right. Nothing felt right. "I don't think American kids will like me," she worried as she began to brush her teeth. "Ha-he, man, it should be," she said to the mirror with her mouth full of toothpaste. The next morning, when Yoonhee arrived at school, she found a glass jar on her desk with some pieces of paper in it. Yoonhee took one out and read it aloud. "Daisy. That's my baby sister's nickname. But she said you can use it if you want," said Cindy, who sat next to her. Yoonhee took out the rest of the paper. "Tamela," she read. "I got it from a storybook," said Nate. "She was smart and brave." Yoonhee nodded and unfolded another piece. "Wednesday? Yeah, you can call her on Wednesday," said Ralph. "Thank you for your help." A smile spread over Yoonhee's face. Ralph quickly said, "We'll put more names in. You can pick whatever you like, or pick them all, and you'll have the longest name in history." At 3 o'clock, the bell rang for the end of the school day. Yoonhee looked out the window and saw it was sprinkling. It's the same rain, she thought, but in a different place. She watched other kids leaving in groups. "Hey!" a familiar face called out to her. Yoonhee turned around to see the curly-haired boy again. "I'm Joey," he said. "And you? Don't you have any name?" Yoonhee thought for a moment. "Well, I can show you," she said, and took out the small red pouch. She pressed the wooden block on the ink pad and then stamped it on a piece of paper. "This is my name stamp," she said. "My grandmother gave it to me. In Korean, I can use it as a signature when I open a bank account or write a letter. And whenever I miss my grandma, I use it to fill a piece of paper. Want to try it?" She offered the stamp to Joey, and he carefully inked the stamp and pressed it hard on the paper. The red characters gleamed against the whiteness. It's hard on the paper. The red characters gleamed against the whiteness. "Wow, that's beautiful," Joey smiled. "Can I keep the paper?" "Sure," Yoonhee said, and then the two of them shared her umbrella as they walked to the school bus. Every day the jar got fuller with more names, and Yoonhee read them all. She found a few names she liked: Miranda, Stella, Avery. They sounded interesting. I hope you choose the name I put in, Marco told her at snack time. I've put in 3 more, said Ralph. Madison, Park, and Lex. They're my favorite street names. Maybe you should close your eyes and draw a name, Rosie suggested. Ralph frowned. That's silly. What if she doesn't like the name she draws? Well, we didn't get to choose our names when we were born, did we? Rosie argued. Everyone thought about this. When Yoo-hee got home from school that day, her little brother ran to give her a letter. It was from her grandma. She opened it quickly. It said, "To my Yoon-hee, I hope you're enjoying your new school and new friends. Be sure to help your mother and your little brother. Here, the moon is up, but there, the sun is up. No matter how far apart we are, and no matter how different America is from Korea, you'll always be my Yoon-hee, your grandmother forever." Yoon-hee took out her wooden stamp and filled a paper with it. She thought for a long time in front of the bathroom mirror. On Saturday, Yoon-hee walked to Mr. Kim's store. Mr. Kim was helping a customer, but he looked up and greeted her. "Hi, Yoon-hee." "Hello, Mr. Kim." Yoon-hee replied. She felt as if she was back in her old neighborhood in Korea. "Hey," said the customer, turning around. It was Joey. "Your name is Yoon-hee?" he asked her, with his eyes open wide. Yoon-hee looked quickly at Mr. Kim, then turned to Joey. She nodded slowly. "Yes, it's pronounced Yoon-hee." "And it means grace," Mr. Kim added. "Yoon-hee," Joey said slowly, and this time perfectly. It made Yoon-hee smile. "I'll have it ready for you tomorrow," said Mr. Kim to Joey. "Thank you, Mr. Kim. See you Monday, Yoon-hee," Joey said to her. He left before she could ask him why he was at the store. On Monday, Yoon-hee came to class early to look at the names one last time, but the jar wasn't on her desk. Instead, there was just a single piece of paper with the name on it. Yoon-hee slipped it in her pocket. "Where's your name jar?" Ralph asked as soon as he saw it was gone. "I don't know," Yoon-hee said. "It wasn't on the teacher's desk or on any other desk, and it wasn't on the counters or any of the shelves." As soon as kids arrived, they helped look. Soon, the teacher came in and Ralph shouted at him, "The name jar is gone! The jar with all the names in it! Gone!" With a look of concern, he asked Yoon-hee, "Did you get a chance to read all the names?" Yoon-hee nodded. She took a breath. "I'm ready to introduce myself," she said. Yoon-hee wrote her name in both English and Korean on the chalkboard. "I liked the beautiful names and funny names you thought of for me," she told the class. "But I realized that I liked my name best, so I chose it again. Korean names mean something, Yoon-hee. Yoon-hee means grace." "Grace! Grace in-hee!" shouted Ralph. Everyone tried to say it. "Yen-ne-he, Yoon-hee, un-hee." Yoon-hee said her name again slowly and clearly. Soon, the kids began to say it better. They applauded Yoon-hee's choice. "I was named after a flower," Rosie whispered to Yoon-hee. "Lots of American names have meanings too." When the class was dismissed, Yoon-hee heard her new friend say goodbye. "Bye, Yoon-hee. See you tomorrow. Goodbye, Yoon-hee." Yoon-hee said goodbye and then looked around for Joey, but he was already gone. "Yoon-hee, Yoon-hee, come downstairs." Mother called up to Yoon-hee. "Your friend is here." Yoon-hee rushed down to see who she met. There stood Joey, and in his arms was the name jar. "Where did you find it?" asked Yoon-hee breathlessly. Joey looked embarrassed. Well, I took it, but only because I wanted you to keep your own name, and you did." He reached in and pulled out the names. "Do you want to keep them?" he asked. "Thank you. I'll keep them as a souvenir," Yoon-hee said happily. Then she pulled out the piece of paper from her pocket. "Do you want this back?" Joey grinned. "You can keep it. I'll return the name jar to the class. Maybe you could put some Korean nicknames in it for us. Names with good meanings." "I can do that," agreed Yoon-hee. I've already got a Korean nickname, Joey said. Mr. Kim helped me choose it. Carefully, he pulled a small silver felt pouch from his pocket. Then he took out a dark wooden stamp with beautiful Korean characters carved sharply into it. He pressed it on the ink pad and then on the piece of paper next to her name. Chinku, read Yoon-hee. That means friend. And Chinku smiled back. That was a great story.
That was. If they were both here, I think I'd give Joey a wolf dollar for being so positive and kind, and Yoon-hee one for being so confident in herself.
That's right. I agree. Right. Well, thank you for joining us, everyone. We look forward to seeing all of your bright and smiling faces tomorrow morning. Have a good night.
Good night.